So here we have this place in England where tensions are flaring up. I also must mention what's going on right now in Cairo, Egypt, where Muslims and Christians are attacking each other. Kind of interesting. It all started from this sort of Romeo and Juliet love affair between a Muslim and a Christian. Reports showing at least 13 people were killed when a Muslim mob bombed some Christians who were protesting. Do you think it could ever get to this point here, Imam?
First of all, I'd like to clear up a few facts. Our brother just said that about the Muslims in this area. The biggest arrest in this area, not arrest, but seizing of assets and books was in Northern Virginia, right over here, the Adams Center type Muslims. The FBI collected from the IIIT all of their books over 6 years ago, and they haven't got a case yet. So, and those are the most cooperative Muslims in the United States. Homes were invaded. They were basically oppressed. The next thing is, as far as Islam is concerned, and these people who have been arrested in recent years, you have to look at the concept of entrapment. I understand entrapment because I've been entrapped by the government. If you look at the African Americans, we look at it very close. You take the New York issue. They rolled in, a Pakistani got out of jail, went to the masjid. The Imam told him, stay away from this center, just like that Imam did. Stay away from this center. He went around and picked up on the less active Muslims in the community, showered them with money, then after that drove the guys to New York to a synagogue and said, now place this here, and then the FBI arrested him. Just a minute, in court, the judge asked the guy, one of them, do you know what's going on here? He was a mental patient, and he was on Thorazine or Prolixin. The judge asked, do you know what's going on here? He said, I think so. I'm telling you, my brother don't know nothing about what he's talking about.
There certainly have been cases where the government, the FBI, has uncovered situations in which plots were in the works. But, you know, some people do call that entrapment. You kind of chuckled, so go ahead and respond.
You just spent 3 minutes discussing one incident. I've mentioned 48. The vast majority...
Well, you didn't mention specifically any of those 48.
Yes, I did. The Lackawanna 6, the 12 in Virginia in 05 or 03, excuse me. There are 48 individual incidents where there was an entrapment, where they were convicted or in the process of being convicted. And the fact of the matter is, and this is what upsets me, and there are some of the Muslim community that are doing this. This is a huge opportunity for the Muslim community. This is a huge opportunity for them to come forward and say, we are helping. And a lot of them are availing themselves thereof. They're working with Peter King. Peter King just didn't wake up one day and said, let's do this. He's been looking at this for years. And he's going to investigate the portions of the Muslim community that haven't been cooperating and have been shielding terror activity. Those are the ones, and the only ones, that he's investigating.
What if they went to the synagogues and said to the rabbis, if you don't cooperate with us, we're going to give you trouble? Suppose they went to the churches around America and demanded that the religious leaders cooperate with the FBI about the religious attitudes of the people.
Is there terror activity related?
Hey, the guys who was arrested here in D.C., some of them came to our... Do you know what? Paintball. I run in Fort DuPont Park. There's everybody in the universe out there shooting paintball. Now, that means you have to have raised the level, or the threshold for guilt and innocence have to be very low. You will have to have frightened the American community about what terrorism is. The courts are terrorized, the juries are terrorized, the Americans are terrorized.
I'm thinking very clearly.
The Americans had
I'm not the one that thinks 9/11 was an Israeli plot.
Who's this guy? They had a big demonstration downtown a few months ago against fear. The American people are tired of being made afraid.
They're not afraid. They're thinking very clearly, they're thinking very rationally, and they don't like people like you who blame 9/11 on Israel.
They don't like the FBI. Well, you heard the people. The FBI do not have the right to go around and oppress us. The FBI is a criminal. I'm telling you about how I live. How you live, you might be one way. I know what the FBI does. It is a criminal organization. The CIA is a criminal organization. On top of that, George Bush
You're taking this,
lied
right?
and invaded people, right, and killed thousands of people, and he's not in jail.
Okay.
Right? Didn't he
Okay.
do it? Well, what are you talking about?
What color is the sky in the world?
They invaded Afghanistan. The United States have invaded Afghanistan and killed thousands of people.
You know what? Let's talk about that. Seton, you know,
about?
a lot of these wars, you know, that the U.S. has been involved in Afghanistan, in Iraq. I mean, just last week, 9 children were killed in a NATO airstrike. Things like this stick out in the minds of people. You think about back in 2004 when a U.S. Marine shot and killed a wounded man inside of a mosque. These are the things that they remember.
Well, then what they need to also remember, what they need to also remember is there are Muslims trying to kill Muslims all over the world, and it's American soldiers that are standing in the way and defending the innocent Muslims from the radical jihadists that are trying to kill other Muslims.
But it's also American soldiers who are killing innocent civilians.
This homeboy here is insane. Let me explain something. The most hated country in the so-called Middle East is the United States. Let me give you an example.
What?
They want to put a no-fly zone today over over Libya. Just a minute.
I don't.
Finish. Just
Who's
be
doing
quiet.
it? No one's doing it.
Just be quiet and hold your time for a minute. And they, on top of that, if they wanted to put a no-fly zone on somebody, why they didn't put one on Israel when it had cut off Gaza and starved the people to death, bombed, raped, and murdered them? Why didn't put a no-fly zone? Why didn't it put a no-fly zone over Beirut, over when the United States invaded Lebanon and killed?
When did the United States invade Lebanon?
You don't know nothing about history. The Israelis invaded first, then the United States came in. That's how the embassy got blown up.
All right, fellas,
That's not an
Don't you
invasion,
study
that's troops to defend the innocent.
Oh, America, that's why the people was calling about the New Jersey in Lebanon. They would say,
it's not the
when they captured somebody, here's what they would say: New Jersey, New Jersey, New Jersey. And that guy, some of the Americans would say, I'm not from New Jersey. They were too dumb to realize that the battleship New Jersey with 16-inch guns, that's from your time. Do you remember how big 16-inch guns are?
All right, but let's keep this on topic.
Blowing the people up. That's your American history.
What do you think Congressman King's hearings will accomplish that's positive for this country?
Well, as I said before, I think if the Muslim community, and portions of it are, Zuhdi Jasser is there. I'm sure he does not like Zuhdi Jasser at all, but Zuhdi Jasser is there. He is a moderate Muslim in the truest sense of the word. He is offended by what the violence people are doing to his religion. He's going to testify. He's going to cooperate in a very open way. It's not a matter of terrorizing him into cooperation. He's voluntarily cooperating because he realizes the violence and the poison in his religion brought into his religion by these people, and he wants to clean it out.
So you have no care at all in the world. I mean, so many leaders in this government say, we're fighting for our Constitution, we're fighting for our freedoms. Guess what? Congressman King is going after...
How's he violating anybody's freedoms?
He's going after a religion and targeting them.
No, he's not targeting a religion.
Purely on their religion.
He's trying to delineate the violent practitioners of the religion from the rest of them.
By targeting all of them.
No, he's not targeting all of them. How is he targeting all of them? Zuhdi Jasser's there of his own volition on the side of Peter King to side by side with Peter King defend Islam from these idiots who are doing things in the name of it.
All right, Imam, we have just a few seconds left. I'm going to give you the last word.
The United States government is harassing and threatening Muslims all over the world. He talked about the U.S. defending Muslims. I don't know where he sleeps at night, but it must be far, far away. What we know is this: the Muslims are good citizens. They should be left alone. The Muslims in general, I'm talking about 99% of the Muslims, they don't even talk about any terrorist subject. I've never... No, why are these bombers always somebody that don't nobody know?
All right, guys, unfortunately that we are out of time. Seton Motley, president of Less Government, and Imam Abdul Ali Musa, director of the Masjid al-Islam Mosque in Washington, D.C.
Thank you.